Well, good morning and happy Monday. Today I'm going to Seward and I'm going on a Kenai Fjords. It's like a wildlife tour. It's supposed to be a 6-hour tour and it departs Seward at 11:30 this morning. It is currently 7:50 a.m. I'm gonna fill my coffee cup. I have Rain-X'd the windshield of the Jeep because it's raining. I have my waterproof pants that I bought at the Goodwill in the last video that you saw. If you watched the last video, which was like the garlic day at the Alaska Botanical Garden, botanical at the Alaska Botanical Garden, the fall festival at Double Shovel. I think at the very end of that one I mentioned that I was considering going to Palmer for the muskox farm yesterday, which was Sunday. I did not do that yesterday. I did homework yesterday. I did a lot of homework yesterday. But today I have a ticket already, so I can't cancel this plan today. And I'm actually really very excited about the plan today. So I'm gonna refill my coffee cup. I have a banana because Adam and Sherry left a couple of bananas over there, but I'm ready to go. So let's hit the road to Seward. It's about a 2-hour drive and I'm supposed to arrive at least an hour ahead of time. So I should be there, hopefully, if I leave by 8, I should be there by 10. I'm supposed to be there by 10:30 because my cruise leaves at 11:30. So I should have plenty of time. But I don't wanna dawdle. I did shower this morning. Captain America's had his breakfast. He is not exactly happy with me right now because I'm leaving and he knows I'm leaving. So he's sitting on the staircase like licking his chops because breakfast was really yummy. All right, I'm gonna hit the road. Let's go to Seward. Well, I've made it to Seward. This is the Kenai Fjords tours building right over here. And it's interesting because when we were here on our cruise, when we were in Seward on our cruise here in May, just this last May, we had breakfast at this restaurant, the Breeze Inn Restaurant Lounge. So it's right over here. I'm gonna go get checked in. I put my sweatshirt on. I have my coat. My rain pants are in my backpack. I've got my backpack. I've got a water bottle. I think I'm set. I also brought a hat and gloves, but I'm gonna go get checked in. It is 10:17, so it took me just over an hour, or just over 2 hours to get here. So it's a good thing I got here when I did, because I can't park in this parking lot. This is for 2-hour visitors only, and I'm gonna be here probably 6 hours. So I need to move the car. All right, so it's not like really far, but they do have like a free shuttle that will take you from this parking lot back to the building. I appreciate that they have free parking. There's a closer parking lot that is paid. It's like $10 for the full day. And it's like right there, but this is free. So we're gonna take advantage of that. And there's a couple of other people here. I might just walk. I've been sitting for a while. It was a 2-hour drive. I might just walk. I'm inside the gift shop now. They've got a bunch of, like, of course, souvenir mugs. The coffee thermoses are nice. And then they've got hats and gloves in case you forgot yours at home. T-shirts, of course, and coats, jackets. Boarding is supposed to begin at 11, and I just remembered something. I don't think I told you. I saw whales in Turnagain Arm this morning. I don't know what kind they were. They were either humpbacks, which I doubt, or belugas, which is more likely, or it's my supposition that they were beluga whales. I couldn't tell you. I did not get them on camera. I just happened to look out and I saw the blow spout, and I saw the backs of like 4 or 5 whales. They were not orcas. I know that for sure. So it's not entirely impossible. We could see whales today. There's a possibility. I'm not optimistic, but it could happen. But that was very exciting today. It's about 10:48. It is 10:48, and it looks like we are beginning the boarding process. There's beached jellyfish out here. Lots of them. I think we're getting ready to, yeah, we're pushing off. We haven't even left the harbor yet, and I've seen a couple of harbor seals. So cool.
Left and right. For example, as a cruise on out of here, you notice that
Oh, there's somebody right out here.
we are on a little bit of lower tide
Great, thanks.
Good, good.
Well, we're back in Seward. I'm gonna walk back to the car and take my rain pants off. I think I need gas before I get on the road back to Anchorage. And then it's like a 2-hour drive back to Anchorage. But today was wonderful. Beautiful weather. We got to see so many orcas. We saw harbor seals, Steller Sea Lions, sea otters, Orca whales, and like a plethora of birds. It's really very cool. So, I love this. I will give you like more details when I get back to Anchorage, to Adam Jerry's house, back home. But for now, I'm gonna walk back to the car. All right, I've made it back to the car. And if you're curious, the shuttle will bring you back here. I walked, but it looks like they just kind of drop you off right in the middle of the parking lot, which is weird because they do have this like bus stop hut over here, but they are just dumping people out right here. So if you were curious, that's what that looks like. Now I need to go to the gas station because I'm at half a tank. So I figure I can make it back, but I don't want to risk it. So we're just gonna get some gas now. Well, folks, here we are again. It's the end of the day. It's 9:09 p.m. I did stop for dinner on the way home. If you're curious what I had for dinner, I am working my way through the sushi restaurants here in Anchorage, so I'm basically going to be eating very little other than sushi while I'm here. But I did an Anchorage sushi tour when I was in Anchorage, I think 2021 maybe, and I want to do a part 2, but it's much bigger scale because I've got more time this time. Kind of like I'm on my own, so I can eat whatever I want. The sushi here in Anchorage is, so far, it's been incredible. I haven't had any bad sushi yet. But I stopped at Riharu, which was on the way home, and I had sushi. I didn't eat it all, so I brought leftovers home, so I've got lunch for tomorrow. Tips for the Kenai Fjords cruise. So I've got a couple. If there is the option to take the train from Anchorage, like let's say you're staying in Anchorage, if there's the option to take the Alaska Railroad train from Anchorage to Seward and then back to Anchorage that day, I would do that because driving, especially by yourself, it's kind of hard to like enjoy the scenery. I got a phone mount that I put on the dash, so that's how I got the footage of like driving down and then driving back. Leave early. So I got there about 10 till 10:30, like 10:20, I think is when I arrived to the building. The parking is not the parking lot right out front, so I had to move the car. And then we left. We had to leave before 11:30 because they were serving us lunch at 11:30, and we were already like out in the water. So I think we ended up leaving like not at 11, but maybe 11:15, maybe even before that. I'll have to look back at my clips, but arrive early for sure. If you can, take the train so you don't have to drive. I think the train is probably going to be more money. However, you get a really pretty scenic view and you don't have to drive. Dress warmly. So we had beautiful weather today. It was stunning. It did not rain like in Seward, but they take you back to a tidewater glacier. We got to see Aialik Glacier today. And when you get back in Aialik Bay, or when you get close to a glacier, it just gets colder. That's science for you. That's how it works. And then you're on the water, so it's windy. I bought these like waterproof, rainproof pants at the Goodwill on Saturday, and I wore them today while I was on the boat. And it was probably the best decision I could have made because it helped block the wind in addition to the rain. There was no water today, like I was not getting rained on or sprayed on even, but having something to block the wind definitely helped. Gloves are important. Hats are nice, but something that fits like snug to your head. The wind whipped my stocking cap right off today because I'm not wearing mine. I'm wearing one of Adam or Sherry's, and I think the one I wore today belonged to Adam, and his head is just much bigger than mine. So I should probably wear a Sherry hat, not an Adam hat. Dress warmly, arrive early, take the train if you can. Take lots of pictures. Be prepared to like walk around on the boat and like go from side to side, walk around the boat. They do let you take snacks and drinks of your own. My souvenir cup, I ended up getting the souvenir cup because they had free unlimited refills of coffee, hot chocolate. The coffee I didn't care for. The hot chocolate was nice because at the point we were at the glacier, I decided my hands are cold. I'm not warming up. I'm going to buy a hot beverage. You could buy coffee for $4 or a hot chocolate for $4, or you could get the souvenir cup and unlimited refills for $12. And I definitely got 3 refills out of it. Plus I can reuse the cup forever and ever. And it's a nice souvenir. I also tipped the crew on the boat. So there were 4 people on the boat, and I think I got their names. They were wonderful. They were excellent. Our captain was fantastic. It was amazing. What an incredible day. I loved today so much because I got to see so much. Oh, and on the way home, I got to see beluga whales. So let's do our little Alaska Wildlife bingo card. We got to see beluga whales. I saw them on the way down there. I did not stop and take their picture. So we won't start there. Let's start with the harbor seal that we saw right when I got on the boat. Then we saw sea otters. We saw Steller Sea Lions. We saw orca whales. We also saw beluga whales. We saw lots of birds, assorted birds. It's hard for me to get them on camera because they're so small, because they're so far away. But we saw lots of different birds. And then we saw beluga whales on the way home, which was just so cool. I still can't believe that happened. And that's just one of those things about Alaska. Is like, you never know what you're gonna see. So constantly be on the lookout out the window, wherever you are. Unless you're driving, in which case you need to pay attention to where you're driving, which takes me back to take the train if you can. It was not an option for me today because I'm like doing this so late in the season. Today is the 22nd of September. So it's like end of the season. Another tip, if you're going to do it at the end of the season, prices may be a little bit cheaper. So I found the ticket for today for $209, and then I had a 10% off discount, like coupon code that I found from a blog. It was like Valerie something. If I can find it again, I'll link it. I don't know if it's going to be good forever, but it was 10% off, which, you know, it's not a lot, but it's more than nothing. And I will take what savings I can, you know, especially at this point in my life. But I just had a magnificent day. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm done talking for now. Thank you so much for watching. You guys will see me in another Alaska solo adventure really, really soon. Bye.